Let's go to New Zealand now. Police there are investigating threats to contaminate infant formula. Anonymous letters have been sent to the National Farmers Association and dairy giant Fonterra. They contain small packages of formula laced with the agricultural poison 1080, which is used to control pests. The letters threaten to contaminate infant formula with the poison unless New Zealand stops using it by the end of March. Emily Buchanan reports.
Safe, reliable baby milk, the lifeblood of the New Zealand economy. But now Fonterra, a huge multinational company and the world's biggest dairy exporter, is on high alert after a threat targeting its customers.
There is a possibility this is a hoax. We have from the outset treated this threat as very serious.
Last November, Fonterra received letters with packages of poisoned baby formula. The poison was an agricultural pesticide, 1080, the threat to contaminate more milk powder unless 1080 was banned by the end of this month.
It's a form of eco-terrorism without doubt, so the person's motive is to try and bully the government to stop using 1080.
Fonterra doesn't need another scare. In 2008, it was a part owner of a big dairy company in China, which was forced to recall more than 10,000 tonnes of infant formula after melamine contamination. The New Zealand government says it's tested 40,000 product samples and found no evidence of poison.
We have every confidence that any product on the shelves today for mums and dads is as safe as it is now as it was before the threat.
Whatever the reassurances, there are fears of a consumer backlash against New Zealand's dairy industry. Emily Buchanan, BBC News.
Well, with me is brand psychologist Jonathan Gabay. Jonathan, thanks very much for coming in to the programme. What I found most interesting is that this threat was made in November, but the details have just come out now.
I know, and that's what's made me very suspicious as well, to be honest with you. Why now? What has happened? I honestly don't know, but there must be something that has happened now that they have felt that the press needs to know about this. From a brand psychology point of view, I mean, I've been studying brand psychology for a long time. I've been 30 years in advertising and stuff like that. And from a brand psychology point of view, when it comes to trust and authenticity, people want to know that the brand is transparent. Now, if it was me and I was advising such a client, I would have said to them, it's very straightforward, this. All you have to do back in November is say there may be an issue, remove the product from the shelves, check it for whatever possible contaminant may be there, and then that's it. Why now, though? It's a really interesting question.
So what kind of damage, then, has been done to this brand?
Well, I think, to be honest with you, by leaving it till now, from a psychological point of view, this raises doubt in people's minds in terms of, why has this been kept secret? What else is it that I'm not being told? Now, please don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting in any way whatsoever that, you know, there is something untoward. And indeed, what, you know, the threat it's an awful thing to do, to threaten to actually put some sort of a chemical into something. But, again, from the psychology point of view, yeah, this is going to make people just ask, why? And why now?
Because this could have gone horribly wrong. If this person blackmailing has sent this type of milk and laced and contaminated, this could have actually happened.
Exactly. So the thing is, there was a very famous case, you know, goes back a few decades, but it's one of those classic cases. With an American pharmaceutical company, okay? They had a brand of headache pill, okay? It doesn't really matter what the brand is. But the thing is that they got a similar threat. Okay, they found in the end that it affected just one bottle or something like that. But what they did was they immediately withdrew the product, and by immediately withdrawing the product, checking everything, they gained the trust, and they won back any doubt that there could have been. Why was this not done now in this case? I don't know.
So how does a brand recover from something like this? Because if I'm a parent and I want to buy milk powder or whatever, even if it hasn't happened, you are worried.
Of course you're worried. And then you're absolutely right to be worried. So what should the brand do? Explain why now. I'm sorry I keep on going back to the same thing, but explain why now. Okay, they have given it a bit of a media spin by saying this is an attack on brand New Zealand, and they called it brand New Zealand. That's very, very nice, but actually from a psychological point of view, that actually exacerbates the problem, because it sounds as if I'm pushing it over to here, whereas just tell me, why didn't you remove the product at the time?
It's interesting, and we'll see how this actually develops. Jonathan Gabay, thanks very much for coming in.
Pleasure.